joining us is Kanti Wisnuwardani Janis, co-founder of Baca di Tebet, a library and hub space that will connect people through books and also ideas. So let's get into this conversation and explore how reading can shape life and communities. Good afternoon, Kanti. How are you? I'm sorry, Kanti. Can you repeat once more?
Yeah, hi everyone. Hi Unica. I'm Kanti. I'm feeling great and fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much, Kanti, for asking. Let's just jump right into the question, shall we? What motivated you to establish or join a reading community?
Well, I'm first stating that I didn't start with building a community, but I started by building a library that is Baca di Tebet. And start from the library, it's just naturally that the reading communities, writers, they come to our library.
So you started with building the library itself, then the community just come eventually.
Yes.
And how can you read, how can your reading community, this community that you already have because of the library that you built, can raise awareness about the importance of reading, and who are your target audience?
First of all, I started the library because of my own longing for a convenient, friendly, and homey library. That's how I started the idea of building the library together with my business partner and best friend, Win Muldian. And so it's just, I happen to be also in the Writers Union. And so I have many writers friends. And so we can say that they are the first community that came to our library, because writers and libraries cannot be separated.
Indeed. So it's very unique.
Yeah.
Your library is the first community of your library is actually the writers, your friends who are also writers. That's really cool. And again, by building this library and the writers within the library that became a community, who are your target audience?
Again, when we first planned this, we didn't have a specific targeted audience, but it's just coming from what we wanted from a library. Library where we can have discussion. Stiff life. You can eat, you can have coffee, you can have conversations, and you can make anything at our library, talk, music events. And so it's a very lively library, because the principle behind our library is not a place to deposit books, but library is a place where we talk about ideas, because the books would not be useful if you only put it in the shelves. You need to discuss it, the ideas from all these writers.
That is very interesting. Library is not a deficit for... Yes, you're kind of breaking up, but I can hear you enough. Yes, the point is really, really interesting, where you said that library itself is not a deposit of books, but it is a place where you can share and also share ideas and also make the ideas alive. That's what you're saying, and I think that's very interesting.
Yes.
And you mentioned about this library not only just for reading, but it is a hub space or a cozy space, I might say, for people who want to read. But there's also activities there, like event and etc. Can you dig more into that?
Yes, in our library, we already had some events other than reading books, like I mentioned before, for example, music and watching movies and seminar, small seminar, um, workshops, uh, even some cooking demo, something like that. So because library is a place for you to learn, and you can we see reading in the wider range. It's not only reading the physical books, but you read the people that you are meeting. You can read, you can understand the environment where you live, the earth where we live. So it's bigger than only reading books.
Wow, that is very interesting. Yes. So reading is not only
That's
about
why we
reading
use the
books.
word. That's why we use the word baca, or means read.
It's not specifically means to read book, but you can also read people, environment. That's why the library is Baca. That's cool.
Yes, the
And
place where
following,
you live. Yeah.
yeah, interesting. And because you said that this library is created and fostered it started with your friends who are also writers, and I believe so that you're also a writer. Can you share your most memorable reading experience? Maybe your favorite books or one of the books that kind of changed your life, and why does it stand out?
Well, it's very hard for me to if what it comes to my mind right now, because I've been reading so many books in one day. I can read like 2 or 3 books. So, but now what it comes to my mind is a book by Yanis Varoufakis. Let me Google the let me Google the title because suddenly I just forgot it. But of course, book from Pramudia Anantatur, the the tetralogy of Bumi Manusia, and the book from Multatuli, Max Havelaar. It's something that you should read because fictions sometimes are more honest than the nonfiction history book. And by reading those books, you can understand our position today as Indonesian, why we are here today.
Yes, very interesting. Pramudia Anantatur. It's a very classic answer, but it's a must. And I want to know, as a writer and as the co founder of this library, how has reading influenced or affected your life? I'm pretty sure it's very intertwined and also correlated to your life. But can you explain more? How has reading influenced your life?
Oh, reading is giving me a profound effect and impact in my life. By reading, uh, I I can teach myself, and also I'm I'm training my brains to always thinking, always to make a decision based uh, on the facts, based on the research. So to make before I make some decision, I will comprehend it first, and I will really make it me more wise. And then I can be someone. I can understand. I can be in someone else's shoes by reading books. I can feel the experience of the people that the story that they are writing. So it's very to me, reading books are very magical. It also I see it reading books, not only books, but reading in general is like a little time machine, because everything that's been put in writings are was doing in the past.
Wow. Yes, so you were saying that books is actually a time machine because we are reading what something that has been written in the past. And also reading can, for you personally, it enhance or harness your critical thinking, problem solving, and also part of it, I think through reading you created this and make a new community itself, your library. Yeah?
Yes, yes, and reading also tools to to start a conversation, to have uh, equal conversation, because when you read similar books or similar topics, uh, then you can talk to anyone who are interested in the same topic. So it's opening you to a bigger doors to a bigger life, and uh, it's very tremendous impact on my life. Yeah, also by establishing my library, I've I've been experienced so many. I always said like magical things. People that I never thought would come to my library, they came to my library. There are so many great people that I wanted to meet. I didn't invite them, but they came to the library. Yeah. Okay.
Wow,
So,
and it.
so I got the book. Okay. So this
Oh,
is the book,
yes, please.
the more recent book that uh, I've been reading on and on again. It's a very simple book written by economist, politician, and he was a former minister of economy in Greece, Yanis Varoufakis, talking to my daughter, a brief history of capitalism. This is I'm recommending this book.
Okay. Talking to my
Mhm.
daughter. Can you repeat it again? Talking to my daughter.
uh, Talking to my daughter, a brief history of capitalism by Yanis Varoufakis.
Okay, make sure the VOI listeners are noting that so you can read what has inspired Kanti recently. And I want to have follow-up questions in relation to Library Day. Today is Library Day. How do you view the role of libraries today in especially today's world?
Library is very important for the public because it is a alternative place. We say that the third place is not a house, it's not a school, it's not a mall, but it's place for public when everyone can they can approach, everyone can go into library where they can actualize themselves, and where they can in this digital era where information it's unstoppable. When every 5 seconds we receive new information, library like a safe space where you can decide what I want to learn, what I want to read. So you have the filter. The control is you when you are in the library. It's not decided by the technology in your hands, but it's your decision to decide what do you want to know, what do you want to see, or you can just um, sit and relax and just talking to yourself. So library is very integral in this time.
It is very integral indeed. Just talking to you, it makes me want to go and visit your library. It sounds really
Please,
fun.
please.
Yes, it sounds really fun. It doesn't sound like a typical traditional library, but it sounds like a place where you can connect with almost everything, ideas, people, and also environment. And yeah, I'm tempted to go to your library. Yes.
Please do come. We also have coffee. We also have proper food, sop buntut, and burgers.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sadly, we have the last question. We're in the last question now. I want to ask you, Kanti, what do you think? And if you could, what would you like to deliver to the younger audience or the younger people in Indonesia, which we are currently facing an urgency in literacy? What do you want to say to the younger audience, or maybe a message for them?
Well, what I can say is look into yourself. Do not disturb by the noise. And to be able to do this, you must find what thing that most interesting for you. What is your passion? What moves you? And you can find this by unplugging. Read more books, physical books.
So read more books. Through that, you can unveil your passion.
Yeah, you can find the books that you love. You can start it from comic books, even just from a few pages books if you're finding it hard to concentrate. Because reading is also a skill. It's not something that comes naturally to us. It should be taught. It should be trained. So you started with picture books, and then with a lesser text, still with pictures, but more text, and then you just go up and up. There's a level in reading.
Very, very
So
good.
it's a skill.
Answers.
It's not a hobby. You have to have a willingness. Just like when you want to play guitar, you want to be able to play piano or drawing. It needs to be trained.
Interesting. Reading is a skill, not a hobby. That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us on this afternoon VOI Talk. Big thanks to our speaker, Kanti Wisnuwardani Janis, for sharing her journey, her thoughts, and also ideas on reading and also the reading community in Indonesia. You can listen again to this VOI Talk. Thank you so much, Kanti. You can listen again to this VOI Talk on our YouTube channel, VOI Official.
Udah. Terima kasih. Thank you so much.
Here is
Udah bisa log out
with English program, presenting news, information, and entertainment from Indonesia. You can listen to our program through shortwave 3325 kHz and 4755 kHz. Online streaming voinews.id and at RE Digital mobile application. Voice of Indonesia, from Indonesia to the world.